Hello, and welcome back to Take Yourself to Work, the podcast about finding success without losing yourself in the process. We are over the moon about today's guest, who you can see sitting here, sitting lovely, as always, to my right,
Hello.
the one, the only Nicole Stotler. So, Nicole has a long, illustrious corporate career, which she is going to tell you about in just a second. But in recent years, she has expanded beyond that into her entrepreneurial dreams and visions. And we are so excited for her to talk a little bit about that, some of the obstacles she overcame on the way, and how she's living out her passions these days. So, Nicole, welcome to the podcast.
Hi. So happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you. I'm trying not to be silly this time because
Okay.
Nicole is a good friend of mine. I've known her for many, many years, and she's hilarious.
We have silly time.
So feel free to give a good guffaw, a good chuckle. This we don't take ourselves too seriously around here.
We don't. We can't. We can't. We can't.
Okay,
Not
great.
possible.
So Nicole, do you want to give us a quick rundown of your career trajectory thus far?
Sure. So I am an HR professional. I have been doing HR for about 20 plus carry the 1 years. And I actually started straight out of college. I was very blessed to have the opportunity to be an intern via the Inroads internship program. Shout out to Inroads if you know what they are. And worked for a number of different companies through Inroads. And then after that, I graduated from college, and those were like summer internships, like in between like the college years. And then after that, I thought I was going to just be a cool kid and run away to New York City. So I grew up in Connecticut, right outside of the New York City metro. And I was like, I get this corporate thing, but I want to just see what New York City has to offer. And for those that don't know, I'm a product of migrants, first generation American, and my Jamaican mother was like, I didn't come this far to just come this far.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you didn't either. So she said, listen, we did these internships, get your behind from the city and get this suit on and these pantyhose and these flats and interview. So that's what we did. And was able to get into a couple of rotational programs with some pretty big companies, and then progressed up the HR career ladder over a number of years, and then had a really cool job going into the pandemic where I traveled all over the Western Hemisphere. It was a very sexy job. Chile 1 week, Mexico the next
And
week.
you're bilingual, trilingual?
Bilingual. I mean, if you count patois, trilingual.
I count it. It does count.
But that's when we met, right? When I was traveling from here to there. And, my partner at the time was like, hey, look, I didn't sign up to be a part-time husband. And I said, okay, fair enough. So left the company that I was with and got an amazing job with the company that I'm with now. And have been doing that for the last 5 years, and love HR. Been doing it for most of my for all of my career, but I love people. So
I was going to ask my next
there's a lot
question,
to unpack there,
which
huh?
was about, and I remember you traveling a lot. I remember you, I've had conversation with Nicole where she's going back and forth, English, Spanish, all over the place.
Yes.
So I know she is a woman of the world, cultured, global traveler. And I was going to ask, what was that balance like in the first place? Or there was
no balance.
really?
There was no balance. It was here for a week, gone for a week. Sometimes here for a week, gone for 2 weeks, especially when I was doing those South America trips. So no balance whatsoever. And I had 2 young kids at the time. And while my partner, my partner at the time had said, hey, look, like I didn't sign up for this. More importantly, my kids. And motherhood is the most important job that I hold. So it was very clear to me that a shift had to be.
Right. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Regardless, you were very successful. And so why add to your plate? You step back to give yourself more time. So then why add the big entrepreneurial ventures?
Yeah. Listen, it's great to work for for corporate entities. You learn process, you learn structure, you learn a lot of things, ways of working. But there's a lot to be said about just having freedom, right?
Mm,
And being able to work for yourself, chase your passions, set your own, like, make your own rules.
yeah.
And so the corporate space doesn't really allow for that. And entrepreneurship, I feel like, does. So for me, after 20 plus carry the 1 years of being in that corporate structure, for me, it was either you leave corporate America and do this entrepreneurship thing full time, or figure out how to balance it. And for me, I love structure. I love that biweekly paycheck. I
Hey,
love those
listen,
benefits, the
listen,
401k, the
listen.
stock options. I love all the things, right? I
Right,
need the structure.
right.
So it felt like a safe risk, right,
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
pursue my passions via the entrepreneurial way, and then while maintaining the corporate job.
I'm making a big assumption here because
Okay.
I'm thinking I think anyone actually looking in from the outside would say she's so successful before and after the entrepreneurial ventures. You
Mm-hmm.
just look like a walking, talking success. You look like money, girl. Okay, you
Girl.
always have looked like money. Okay,
Sleeve for sleeve.
but how are you defining that? How do you define success? How do you
Hmm.
decide that something you're doing is successful for you?
Well, thank you for the "you look like money."
She does. She smells like money too. Y'all can't smell her. She
Listen,
smells
listen.
good.
I'll say, success for me is defined by a number of things, right? I mean, obviously, it's about what you achieve, it's about the what, but success is also, for me, about the how. Again, being a product of migrants, um, what you had, what you amassed was really important. It was a measure of you moving the needle.
Mm,
But I
hmm.
think the more that I've been around just millennials, Gen Xers, Gen Zers, the more I'm realizing that the how and the values associated with that also are a significant measure of success. So, yeah, I think, yes, you can look the part, but how you treat people, how
Mm,
you hold space for people,
yep.
I think is equally important. And the relationships that you build and the depth of those relationships are incredibly important. So, that in combination with the what helped me define
I
success.
love that you called out to the millennials, the Gen Z,
Hmm.
and fast coming Gen Alpha.
Oh,
Please don't
yes.
sleep on Gen Alpha.
I know.
I know
My
more
babies.
middle and high
Yeah.
schoolers with full fledged businesses than I have ever
Hmm.
had in my life. Like
Right.
I am nervous.
Yeah.
They're about to come flying in like a storm, and they don't care about the rules.
And I'm excited about
I
that.
know.
Like, we need that,
I
like,
know, but they really
audacity.
the later version of millennials and Gen Z really invented the gig
Hmm.
economy.
Hmm. You're
The
right.
idea that I have skills and they're good and I can put them where I want to when I want to and also have the rest of my time to myself
Hmm.
didn't really exist in that capacity. And I've
Before.
worked a
Hmm.
number of jobs where they didn't even want you to have a side hustle, like
Hmm.
they felt some type of
Yep.
way. And so shout out millennials. I'm an elder millennial, Gen X, honestly, but I try to relate to the millennials.
Samesies.
I'm really Gen X.
I'm a late millennial. I'm a late Gen Z, early millennial by a
Ye-
year.
Yeah, well, my personal position on this is they owe us. Gen Z for sure, and also the younger millennials
Hmm.
owe Gen X
Hmm.
for bridging the gap between
I
the baby
agree.
boom generation and them.
Hmm.
We carried the weight
We did.
so
We
that
blazed the trail
so
for
that they
sure.
could do the things that they dream up because the baby boomers it's a very rigid generation.
It is. It
Very
is.
pay your dues.
Uh-huh.
Very you don't speak until you've been here long enough for
Hmm.
us to want to listen to you. Like
Absolutely.
we carried that water for the next generation. So go ahead and give us a round of applause. You're
As we
welcome.
should.
We raised Gen Z.
Hmm.
I raised some Gen Z. I got some alpha in my house, and I
Do.
take all the credit for how
Yeah.
adventurous and brave they are.
They are. And I think what you're saying about just the Gen Xers and the barriers that we broke down and the bridges that we built between the baby boomers and Gen Z and the millennials is so important, especially like in that HR world where
Mm,
you still have a lot of baby boomers that are still
sure.
in the workplace that are
In good shape too. They're not going.
anywhere, child. Like
Youngers
you
are
over there
in
waiting
good
for that
shape.
VP role, and that baby boomer is holding on to it by their toenails, right? So
No, I'm talking about baby boomers that get up, ride 20 miles on their bike, swim, and then come into the office at 7 a.m.
just to say that they can and they did, right?
Listen,
It's the later, I'd say, generation of the baby boomers. They move a lot differently than like the 70s, the 60s, than the 40s and the 50s do for sure.
mhm.
But I think the work, I said the trail that we blazed, right, needs to be acknowledged. Maybe it'll be acknowledged at some point, right?
I
In
know.
the
We're the forgotten generation.
Yeah, we really are.
I
We
know.
really are. I mean, when I look at like documentaries, I love documentaries. All they do is talk about Gen Xers with the giant cell phones, the giant like Zach Morris cell phones from Saved by the Bell. And
Yeah.
like the ones working on Wall Street, they were snobs, they were
Big shoulder pads.
big shoulder pads, and they called them something. It's
Okay.
escaping me right now. But like Gen X tends to get a bad rap for, you know, being indifferent and being self-centered, and I'm like, I don't think y'all really understand
Oh
the
no.
weight that we carried. We walked so that the generations after
Facts.
us could run,
We
right?
are the legitimate sandwich generation.
Absolutely.
Almost all of us have living parents
Mhm.
who we're parenting.
Mhm.
And almost all of us, or a large majority of us, have young children who we are bankrolling
Yep. Still.
and still working full time
Yeah.
careers. So,
Absolutely.
okay, not too much on Gen X because
I
I have a
know.
lot to say about
I
that.
know. If not for us, where would y'all be?
Where would you be? All right, so I'm sorry, we'll move
It's okay.
on.
We
I get off
digress.
my soapbox about that, but so I always wanted to ask, what's your big takeaway? Like, what lesson did you carry? For you, I would love to hear what main lesson you carried from your corporate space
Mhm.
into the way you built your businesses.
Mm.
And when I say businesses, I don't know how we skipped past this. Nicole has a successful event planning business. She designs very high end luxury experiences. And she also has recently dipped that toe out there into real estate
Have.
and has closed at least one deal,
And
like
have, yes.
right off the licensing.
Right.
So
License hadn't even been,
it's
wasn't even dry yet.
still wet. Exactly.
Yeah.
So what
Thank you,
did you
Jesus.
take?
Only do.
Oh, they know it. I'm gonna put some church music right there. So seriously though, what did you take from corporate to make that work?
Yeah, there's I'd say a lot, right? Like when you're in corporate America, and I got into corporate America in the early 2000s.
Mhm.
Juvie days, right? Like late 99 to the
Not
early 2000s.
2000.
And there were people who looked like me in corporate America at that time, but there weren't as many as there are today,
Sure.
right? And so one of the key skills that I had to develop was resilience. Um, the ability to just hear the no and understand the no, but not necessarily accept the no. And
I like that.
yeah, resilience I think is so important. It's a skill that I don't think is spoken about enough. I in my world try to talk about that as like a soft skill, aka a competency in the HR world. A lot, because when somebody has resilience, it really just it shows how well they're willing to take criticism. It shows how willing they are to be innovative, to come back with another idea.
Mhm.
And I think that was incredibly important for me as I transitioned into that entrepreneurial world. I had to get people to be willing to take a risk.
Yeah.
And that is hard when there are a lot of professionals out there. But I had to, have confidence in myself, figure out how to innovate when I heard the no, so that the next time I went back, it was a yes. And I would say those were, that to me was like the big skill set that like I was able to take and apply to my
I want
entrepreneurial
to take a
career.
second right there and ask about this because there's a lot of debate round and round on the
Yeah.
internet about the early careerists, the folk coming out of school. A lot of them had a significant part of their life is online.
Mhm.
They're the social media folk. Many of them stayed home for a few years during COVID and
Right.
really weren't interconnected. And there's a lot of scuttlebutt, I'll say, are out there. I just actually saw a LinkedIn post where there's this feeling. I don't know if it's anecdotal or if there's some data that early careers don't not that they don't have resilience, but they're actually missing some sort of social emotional interconnectedness skill
Mm.
more broadly, right? So for sure, if rolling with the punches would be tough for them, but even having hard conversations,
Mhm.
initiating in-person conversations instead of just teamsing you
Mhm.
over and over and over again, like
Yeah.
I've heard it. I don't know that I've experienced it. To be honest, I've worked with some amazing new graduates over the last couple years. Are you seeing that? I mean,
My HR world. Yeah, I am. So I'm in the tech space,
mm.
so people don't have their cameras on. They are teamsing you more than they're picking up the phone to call you.
For sure.
So yes, I am seeing that in the tech world. Um, but I think early COVID, a lot of us, like present company included, like
Mm.
I was want to be on camera. I'd rather message you than pick up the phone and call you. Now
Yeah,
the nature
yeah.
of the work that I do doesn't really allow for that, but I was over people for a while. Like I hated what COVID represented and did to the world, but I
True.
was very okay with the unplugging personally.
Agreed.
But I needed that
But I'm an
reset.
introvert. That's surprising to hear from you. You
Yeah,
are much more extroverted than
but
I.
I'm the most extroverted introvert that you will probably ever
Okay.
meet in your
Yeah.
life. So I was okay with it. But yes, when I think about folks that we've hired since the pandemic that didn't go, 2 of their 4 years, well, and most of those COVID kids ended up having a COVID year. So it was like a 5-year college experience for them. And 3 of those years they did virtually.
Right.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's a different skill set that's entering the workplace right now, and you have um, folks that aren't necessarily keen to interact, but they are
Mm-hmm.
very effective at like critically. They're
Sure.
effective communicators on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Strong.
they have their thoughts well structured. So there are some transferable skills that absolutely bode well for them in the
Mm-hmm.
corporate space. But as we transition back to, and we're there, this world of interconnectedness, as you described it, they're going to have to close that gap on some of the interpersonal skills that might be missing.
Yeah, and this is not. I'm not taking a shot at parents
Yeah.
because I know like parenting, like parenting Instagram, parenting TikTok is like a
Mm-hmm.
vicious place sometimes. I'm not taking a shot at parents, but what I am suggesting for parents, particularly if you have kids who got stuck in the house for 2+ years
Mm-hmm.
on that COVID back end, you actually are going to have to put your own children in difficult spaces.
Yeah.
I do believe that training to be successful in the world starts at home. So I remember the year before my oldest son went to college because he stayed home for a year and did college from his room, which was so anticlimactic after
I can't
graduating.
even
I
imagine.
felt so bad for
My
him.
first year of college was lit. Like I can't imagine having the four walls of my room be my
I
college
just wouldn't go. I would have been
experience.
so bummed. But I was making him do things. So I would make him call, schedule his own doctor's appointments.
Mhm.
If something wasn't happening right, if someone did something incorrectly, I'd make him call, file a complaint,
Mhm.
email someone. I started like forcing him into situations to have difficult conversations with
Brilliant.
people. And I'm not sure everyone's doing that because we were home too. So it would be
Mhm.
very easy to just pick all that up,
Right.
take it back from your kid and do it for them,
Right.
which is a mistake that we
Mhm.
make. And I run into young early careerists all the time, and they're asking me questions, great questions about what to do. But I'm thinking, why are you having to ask me that?
Me, why not your
Where
mom?
why nobody until this day told you how to do this, and
Right.
so we all need to clock back in.
We
No
do.
shade to parents. It's been rough
Yeah.
out here. Clock back in and literally just practice demo difficult things with your
Mhm.
kids.
Mhm.
Conversations. When my kids swear they did their homework and I think they're lying, I make them send an email to the teacher and CC me.
Right. Right. So that so that the teacher can reply to all and tell
That
us what really
part,
happened.
that part, just so
Yeah.
you know, and that'll teach you about a
Mm-hmm.
CC too,
Will
because
do.
don't get into the corporate space and don't understand that people will CC and blind CC
And
you
BCC.
to death. Okay, you're like, not you copy my boss's 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 boss,
Right.
and then you have to hit them with that per my previous email. Okay,
I
I'm
love
off
it.
the topic again.
I
I
love
could just
it.
talk to you forever,
No,
but
but like in COVID, it was hard out here for a pimp for everybody. Whether
facts.
you were a college student who had to do college from his or her room, you were an elementary school student, you were a corporate baddie, you were a stay-at-home mom. It was hard
Hard.
all across the board, and we were all fighting for our lives.
Hmm.
So, um, God willing, we don't ever have to go through that again, but we know where we are now when we know where the deficiencies are.
Hmm.
And as parents specifically,
Yeah.
yeah, there are things that we probably need to do and clock in on to ensure that we
Yeah.
don't raise a generation that like is deficient in skill.
True.
Yeah,
Yes.
for
And,
sure.
and that's shout out to internships. That's a lot of times
Yep.
that's the bridge too.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about that with your inroads
Absolutely.
program. So yeah. Oh, and yesterday was National Interns
It
Day.
was.
So shout out to the interns all over the
Shout out to
world.
the
Pew, pew,
interns,
pew,
which is
pew.
crazy, right? Because like the internships are over at this point, but they got to move that day like to mid-June. Most
You
of the
can't just
internships
move
are
a day
over.
around.
I mean, it's an arbitrary day, but most of these kids are like getting ready to go back to college. Like we can't even celebrate them in the corporate space.
We have ours for one more week.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, ours are done.
Oh,
Mhm.
so earlier when we jumped in, you were talking to me about being the child of immigrants,
Mhm.
and that's a no nonsense upbringing.
Mm.
Everybody knows. All the
Yeah.
first gen kids know it's not a game out
No.
here. It's we did all this, we entered lotteries, we got visas, we did this so you could be
Right.
successful. Don't play
Right.
with me.
Right.
Find something safe to do with. It's not playing with me, right? So what part of that do you still hold with you? Do you still take into the way you approach your work?
Ooh, that's a great question. Ooh, that's a good one because I've been doing a lot of like work to process that because for so many years, a lot of everything that I did was really to like make my mom proud, make my dad proud, because I know specifically my mom, because my parents divorced when I was young. So I knew that my mom had sacrificed so much and done without. And I just felt this deep sense of obligation to her to just live out her wildest dreams. And through therapy, right, during the pandemic, my therapist was like, you've got to live out your wildest dreams. It's not necessarily about your mom as much as it's about you and you fulfilling your own wants, needs, desires, dreams, living out your passions. Like that will make your mom and your dad have immense amounts of joy and take a lot of pride in what it is and who it is that you become. So within like the last year and a half, I've really let go of that and just said,
Mm.
okay, like if you're operating at your best, you're happy, it's your parents will be thrilled. And I feel like I've gotten more accolades from my parents now because I've released that
Oh.
myself of that than I did, doing some real things like graduations and master's degrees and all that stuff. So,
Because they're happy to see you happy.
yeah. Yeah.
That's so interesting. 'Cause I was gonna ask you. Not everyone has that experience.
Yeah, that's true.
For many people, trying to extract yourself from your parents' dream
Mm-hmm.
and live your own is a long, hard road.
It is.
Present company included
Mhm.
for some things, right? My parents were not immigrants. They were. We can trace our roots back a long way in this country, but they still had very big dreams for us.
Yeah.
And me becoming a licensed attorney was a big deal for them. And when I wanted to move away and go into HR, it was very difficult for them to come to terms with like my daughter's a lawyer was something they enjoyed saying, I think. So that wasn't your experience and that's great. But I imagine, you talked about you had a partner previously, so that's changed and you changed some of your career trajectory. How did you manage, and maybe it's your therapist, but how did you manage extracting yourself from other people's expectations?
I don't know if I've done that fully.
Hmm.
yet across the board. But I think the only way that I can really answer that question is just by saying a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Beep, right?
Oh, I've seen that on
Right,
Amazon.
yeah, I've seen that a time or two,
I thought it was
right?
like kitschy. It's good?
I mean, it is good. It
Okay.
is good, and it allows you to hold space for folks that have those expectations of you. But it also allows you to hold more space for what truly brings you happiness and joy. And I think at the end of the day, if you truly have done a good job of surrounding yourself by people and with people who love you for who you are and
Mm.
not what you bring to the table or what you bring to the friendship,
Mm.
they're going to be happy to see you,
Yeah.
right? And I've had to make some really difficult decisions personally in my life over the last like 4 years, and they have been, they were devastating at the time, but that was me in that moment, right? Not like having the trajectory that I have today, or even just like the point of view that I have today. But I had to make decisions as to whether or not I wanted to stay in a marriage where I just wasn't feeling fulfilled or I wasn't feeling like I was actualizing my potential, or leave.
Mm.
And it was easy because of all of the people that we knew in the circles that we were in to stay, right? To maintain the
Right. You
facade
built a life.
and built a life. And we have two beautiful babies. Well, now like preteens and teens. But at the time, young kids. And I just had to tr- a lean in on faith,
Yeah.
because quite frankly, like, faith over fear was the only thing that really got me to the place that I am today, where I can really just talk about fulfillment and happiness. I had to lean in on faith, but then I also just had to trust myself, right?
Hmm.
And just understand that, hey, at the end of the day, Nicole, like, you have some really good friends who might not approve of this right now, but who you will be on the other side of this, as long as you are continue to be authentically you,
Hmm.
and you continue to walk in your truth and honor your God, they're going to be there. And so the expectations, those are all 9 times out of 10 made up in your head, right? Like, they're
Yeah.
not necessarily expectations that people have of you as much as expectations that, like, you believe that you have for yourself and you believe that people have for you.
Yeah, I mean, not for nothing. I do see the Titanic iceberg. That's
This whole
that's
thing.
I mean, not for nothing.
I mean, bling
I'm
bling.
talking about love after lockup, okay, honey? That this let's get one more. Let's look at it just one
Not
minute.
love after
Oh my
lockup. It was not
god.
lockup. It's
I'm
just
definitely zooming in on that in the cut.
no problem. Yeah, like,
There's
there
some
is
things on the other
there is
side.
absolutely fulfillment. There's love, there's happiness, there's a lot of things on the other side. And not just for me, but even for my ex. I mean, he is in a very similar dynamic, right? And he's happy and he's fulfilled. And the most important thing is that our children are happy and
And
our
they get to see their
children are
parents happy.
fulfilled. They get
Yeah.
to see their parents happy. Exactly. Because that was a big thing for me. I felt like my kids were not seeing the best version of me. I know myself to be
Mm.
silly and to be a joker and I'm very tactile with my kids, and they just weren't seeing that. Like, I was
Oof.
wanting to just be holed up in my room and doom scrolling and could barely be bothered with anything,
Mm.
right? Like, I'd come out to eat and then, would go back in with the plate of food. And it just wasn't
I'm a little like that on the weekends. I'm a
it,
hibernator.
I get it. But, like, when you're coming home from work and you're cooking dinner and then once everybody's eaten, you disappear, like, that just wasn't the mom that I wanted, right? And the mom that, like, I knew that I wanted to be for my kids. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, you just when you realize that, like, yeah, the decision that you're going to make is tough and you're going to have to work and work on yourself, but then also be incredibly transparent with your kids and lean into your faith. You just have to trust that everything is going to work out for itself, because there were a number of factors, right? The kids, we were a dual income house, right? Like,
Right.
who gonna pay these bills? Right? Like,
That
that was a
part.
major question.
Who?
How is this all gonna work out?
Who?
And right, and so you just I had to just trust in my ability, what my parents had instilled in me, my resilience, and my work ethic to ensure that on the other side of this, we were all gonna be okay.
You essentially deconstructed your life and built it back as something else. I mean, you
You're
did.
saying it so nicely. I threw a grenade in it, yes, and did.
And did. But I don't even think it was so much you threw a grenade. It feels a little. It felt like a lot more precision was involved in
You
that.
know what? The best way to describe it is like, when you are taking a building down and you strategically place dynamite
That's
sticks.
exactly
Yeah,
right.
that's what it was.
It was a controlled
It
demolition.
was. That's exactly what it was.
Facts.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So smoke clears.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the
Pile
rubble.
of rubble.
You have to rebuild.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what that looks like. I mean, you already mentioned. Now we're talking about changing financial situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have two beautiful children that have to establish some kind of co-parenting dynamic.
Yep.
I still have to go to work and show up and be who they expect me to
Jesus.
be, right?
We
And
did
then
our
now,
best.
and now, knock on everything. Now I have to like be open to relationship
Yeah.
and dating,
Hmm.
which my understanding is that there's pee in the pool, in the dating
Child.
pool. That's what I've been
If.
told.
If.
So, although you've been successful, that
Yes.
had to be at least a scary concept up front. So
For
just
sure.
after the demolition, what happens when the smoke clears? How are we managing?
Yeah, I mean, the first priority, the first priority is trying to um, establish an effective and healthy co-parenting.
Okay.
And, that is tough, especially when you are the one who places sticks of dynamite throughout the building.
Because people are pissed.
Right. Highly. And understandably so, right? And so, had to work really hard to um, put the children first and to like have that be the place from which all of our conversation really started. And then, my ex started dating seriously before I did. So then I had to kind
Can't
of
hold a good man down.
listen, you can. He's a great man, right? But like I just had to deal with my emotions and feelings associated with that, which
What? Could you stop?
girl.
We have to hear. I always wonder about this because
Yeah.
you knew you had to make a change.
Yeah.
Now you released him back into the wild,
Mm-hmm.
and then he has a girlfriend.
Yeah, I
What is
mean,
that? What
and
is
he
that?
wasn't in the wild for a long time, but I knew that this was going to be the case.
Yeah,
But I mean,
but you felt something.
yeah, absolutely. Like I felt something, and I, knew that I had to accept it. And I remember being like in my closet, just like I shed a tear, but I also was praying,
Not
right?
one single thug tear like glory. Be serious.
Maybe a two-tier, one each eye, right? But like I remember being sad about it, but not sad enough to like not
Run back.
right,
Okay.
right, to like not get off the track, right, of my own pursuit of happiness. And so, I live by the phrase "life is but a dream," and so I really, really believed that like pursuing that dream in love and work, entrepreneurship and friendship, and being a daughter, sister, friend. I believe that that is incredibly important. And
Yeah.
so, part of my decision to leave was to release him because I wanted him to find happiness with somebody who was going to be able to offer that, and that wasn't. And he had found that.
Quick.
And
Quick.
yeah, no problem with that. Like he's a great guy. Like I didn't expect him to be in these streets very long. I didn't.
No.
And everyone told me like, "Are you going to be ready?" Because he's going to, and he did. And I'm happy that he did. I really am. And I wasn't outside for a long time either. So let's just be clear about that.
Let's we've already established.
I was not. But I was really happy to have the time to date and to learn what my likes and my dislikes were and what my non-negotiables were.
Mhm.
And August 6th, 2023, found the man of my dreams. Like full
Mhm.
stop. Full stop. Like everything that like I prayed for, that I prayed for, I cried about, I wrote down on my list, I talked to my therapist till I was blue in the face about, I found in my fiance. And so I feel beyond blessed beyond what I feel like I deserve, to have him as a partner. But the first priority, for me, wasn't about finding a mate. It was about finding a healthy and productive co-parenting relationship with
Yeah.
my ex. And so,
And co-parenting is hard. I mean, we hear it anytime a famous couple has a parenting, it's all everywhere.
oh yeah,
But more
Yeah.
than we even hear about fighting over the kids is people will dog scrap about money. How do you prevent that?
you don't.
Oh.
I mean, you don't. It's thank God there are laws, right? There are laws in the states that people live in that carve out what the percentages are supposed to be. And if you are with somebody who truly adores their kids, you will be blessed if they're willing to pay above that percentage. But if you are with somebody who God needs to work on still,
but go on.
You might be going back to court a couple times or two just to make sure that you and your kids can live a substantive life. So yeah, money is always going to be at the forefront of any separation. But I'll tell you, prayer, I'll tell you, compromise are incredibly important to ensure that that relationship can be productive once the papers are the agreements are reached.
Because we know, I mean, I'm always surprised, and I don't know anything about your business. I never asked you about your business.
Right.
But when I see a really successful woman, I always think about Holly Berry and Sherry Shepherd, like these women whose ex-spouse is trying to take them to the cleaners, and I'm just like, oh, gosh.
Well, and that's why it's really, I mean, and that's scary, but that's why it's really important to be incredibly selective about who you choose to have children with, right? And who you choose to establish a life with. Like, I didn't establish a life at the time with somebody who didn't have career goals, aspirations, a career. It wasn't just based off of feelings. Like, he had gumption, and so I'm very thankful that like he still has that. And so your who and who you choose is incredibly important.
And that integrity makes that
yeah,
integrity
sure.
matters more when things are falling apart than when things are going good.
Perfect. Yeah,
I don't know
absolutely.
how many times I've had to tell people, I'm like, if everything's going perfect, so you overlook the fact that they do shady things, this is going to be painful for you when things are hard in your life because they're going to default to that shady character.
Yep.
And there's nothing you can do about
There's
it.
nothing you can do about it at all. You're right. You're right.
Okay. So you got the co-parenting down. Everything is going well. We've talked a little bit about your endeavors.
I don't want to over-dramatize it. Look, we have our moments, like where we just everybody gets left on red, right? Like, I don't want to over-dramatize it, right? And I'm so thankful for my partner who is like so balanced and so measured that like he provides great insight and context to things that I don't necessarily have. But like, yeah, I mean, sometimes we got to take a pause and then we come back to the table and we move forward.
I mean, to me, so I'm still married and I'm not co-parenting. However, I feel like that happens inside your marriage too. I'm in it what I would consider a successful marriage, and I still will leave somebody on red. Like, let me calm down first before I say something silly.
So that's emotional intelligence.
It's just more of that, and then there are blind spots now, and so you can't dictate what your kid does at somebody else's house.
And that level of control, that had to be released
because you're type A.
I can't help it. Gloria raised me. What can I say?
So not being able to control what's happening at somebody else's house has to be eating you up, but you've done it.
Yeah.
Gracefully.
To the best of my ability. God's still working on me is the only thing I can say.
So honest.
Right. But my kids are happy. My kids are healthy. My kids don't come back injured. And I can't ask for anything. They love their father. They do. They love their father. And they love their father's fiance, so it's perfect.
Okay, do you imagine a space in your future, or do no is an okay answer for this, where you would replace your corporate roles with full 100% entrepreneurship?
Isn't that the dream? so successful in your entrepreneurial, I can't get this word out today,
Entrepreneurial.
entrepreneurial pursuits
Mhm.
that like you don't have to work for a corporate entity. That would be great. But again, I need the structure, stability, and that biweekly paycheck and those benefits, the equity and the 401k. Like I need all those
Well,
things.
maybe
So
not.
I don't know if I would get out of the corporate space entirely, but I would absolutely, power down. I'd go into second or third gear
Right.
with it and maybe work part-time or work yeah, probably part-time such that like I could still get some of those perks.
Right.
But I can't say
In this economy,
no.
child,
In this economy, in this political climate, it ain't
girl,
safe. It ain't safe. It ain't
it ain't
safe.
safe. Listen.
It's best to just bet on that sure thing, and go to La Berge or the Golden Nugget every once in a while with that entrepreneurial stuff. But
I'm so risk averse.
yes.
So I don't see it for myself because also you never ever work harder than when you work for yourself.
Hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's there. You don't get to turn it off.
you don't.
There's no break. And
Everyone depends on you.
and when you're not working, nothing's happening.
Right.
There's not someone else
That's
pulling
true.
as hard as you. So, I mean, I don't see it for myself, but
Mhm.
I can see it for you.
Nope, I can't.
Oh,
I can't. I like I said, I don't mind working hard for myself, and I think like the inspiration of carrying my own load and helping other people be successful, it's like I admire that.
yeah.
But I also know that there are days when I just can't get out of bed, and I,
Mhm.
will take calls from the bed in my bonnet, no camera on,
Not
right?
the
And like
bonnet.
sometimes you can't do that if you're an entrepreneur.
I would. I would for sure.
You would?
Yes. If I'm an entrepreneur, you can't make me put my camera on. As a
Oh,
matter of fact, let's play my game now.
okay.
Okay, because I have a
What's
whole
your
game
game?
about hot topics. This is hot takes, hot topics in the
Ooh.
workspace, okay?
Okay. Okay.
And I'm calling my game Clock It or Stop It. Okay?
Okay.
So either it's going to be okay, clock it. That's a
Mhm.
good look or
Okay.
please stop. Don't do that no more.
Okay.
Okay.
Excited.
So, clock it or stop it. Shorts at the office.
Stop it.
Ooh.
Immediately no. I know that wasn't the answer, but stop it and no. Hard no.
Are you serious?
Absolutely.
Not even a hard crease Bermuda length under the knee short with a
No,
blazer?
ma'am. No, ma'am.
I don't
What
agree
kind of
with you.
What kind of office are we working at?
I have seen the cutest H&M Zara like suit short sets
Mhm.
with a nice little pump. I thought it was giving.
So, okay, you're not talking about like above the knee shorts.
No, not that
Below
stupid
the
girl
knee
who was on
shorts?
TikTok who didn't get the job because she wore them tight shorts to her
I
interview.
think I commented on that video.
Did you?
I think I did.
That's one of those places
On
where
behalf
a
of
lot
HR.
of people failed her
Yeah.
before she got to that interview.
Yeah, those were not your friends.
No one at your
To be-
house,
to
no
be
one in your
clear.
family told you, girl, don't wear them shorts.
You need a coach and a mentor.
Both
Those were not your friends.
at the same time. So
Yeah.
no
I
shorts.
mean, listen, I think if you're describing kind of like a
A
avant-garde,
professional short.
professional
A short pant.
short pants suit set, like I wear capris.
Huh.
I wear capris and I wear like a skirt with a slit, but shorts have never been a part of my wardrobe. But just because it's not for me doesn't mean that it's not for you. And I'd say as long as it's classy, as long as it's in the dress code for your corporate environment, go ahead. But if it's above the knee, it's a hard no.
Okay. I
It's a
mean,
stop
you're
it.
never going to find an appropriate short. You're 17 feet tall. So for the Amazons, I'm sure this is a quick stop it. But for those of us whose shorts always are below the knee.
Some of them are pants that become shorts
Alright.
depending on the
Okay,
height.
Nicole says stop
I
it.
say
Don't
stop
do it.
And just be, you know what? Listen, you don't know who you're working for. You don't know what thoughts they have. Like, pants, skirts, dresses, those are universal.
Yeah.
So, and capris are universally accepted. So, why risk it?
Fine. You're being very old fashioned.
Sorry.
Let's move on to my next clock it or stop it.
What we got?
Meetings with the camera off.
Stop it.
No!
Stop
You
it.
just said you can take a call with your
Yeah.
bonnet on with the camera off.
Be better than me. That's what I will say. Listen, like if you're having a hard day, I get it. If like you have if you're having a rough Monday coming out of the weekend, a case of the Mondays, or you went to happy hour and you houred too happily, um, and you need to be off camera for maybe the first meeting of the day, no problem. But I would say if you are looking to move up in your career, if you're looking to establish relationships, if you're looking to maintain credibility, leaders want to see you with your camera on. They want to see you with your camera on. They want to see you in the same environment. They don't want to see you on your couch one day, breakfast nook the next day, home office the third day. I know there are varying opinions about that, but
Man, just put your background on. I actually am super nosy. So if you are in your house without your background on, baby,
I'm in that.
I'm trying to see.
My eyes are
Is that
not
from Pottery Barn?
right.
Listen, somebody redid a wall in their house, and I spent 15 minutes talking about the new finish.
Yes.
So if you don't want me to talk about what you got going on in your house,
Put
baby,
on the background.
put your
But
background
whatever
up.
you do, turn your camera on. Would be my HR advice. From
You didn't hit me with two stoppits.
Okay.
Two stoppits in a row.
Hit me with the clock it.
Sneakers at work.
I mean,
she about to say stop it. I can already feel the stop it coming.
I'll say clock it.
Okay.
I'll say clock it. And I'll say sneakers have come a long way.
And
They've come a long way. I mean, you can get a $700 to $800 pair of sneakers.
All my sneakers cost more than my shoes. Every single pair.
I know. Same. And I think that like dressed, paired well with like an outfit, sneakers could work. You know, if you're talking to me about flip flops, some chanclas, I don't know about that, right? And I know those are not sneakers, but the thong flip flops where I hear you coming before.
I don't ever want to see it. I don't like to see a toe wedgie at work, but I don't mind a slide, like a Tory Burch slide.
Yes, like I have my Dior slides and I wear those and they're very classy. I wear them with dresses. They're very classy. But, you know, and people wear Jordans.
I will wear a Jordan to work in a heartbeat.
And we're in Tejas, so people are wearing cowboy boots. Like, I am fine with the various types of sneakers. Just make sure that they're kept.
This is what ticks me off, okay? Because really, when we have this conversation, we're only talking about women. Because men wear whatever the heck shoe they want to wear. As a matter of fact, men's designers have gone out of their way to add sneaker soles and inserts to a dress top shoe.
Cole Haan is absolutely
Cole Haan is the G of that. Yeah. So you see men walking around looking like they got on doggone wingtips and they're walking on clouds. It's only us struggling in a heel, a kitten heel, a stiletto, and it's not terrible. Right.
It's terrible. Yeah, yes. And so that's why I say sneakers are okay as long as they're kept up, like there's not mud, they're not dirty, there's no rips in them. Yeah.
Okay.
All good. We're clocking sneakers. Sneakers have come a long way.
Okay. This is the last one. I don't even feel like you're going to say stop it. And I don't even know why I'm bothering to ask you. But I'm going to ask anyway.
Okay.
Because you're giving me like old school, solid, classic answers.
Personnel.
Yes, you're giving me HR all day. And this one's going to be right in the same vein.
Okay.
Dating coworkers. Clock it or stop it.
God. I laugh at that. I mean, full transparency, like I met my ex at work.
See?
So
don't double standard me.
I'm not going to. So I will say clock it with a caveat.
What's the clock it caveat?
The caveat is as long as there's no reporting relationship or hierarchy, we can clock it. I mean, I work at a very large company where there are people who work in one department and their boyfriend spouse works in a completely other department and there's no connectivity there. So I don't have a problem with you dating somebody who works at the same company as you.
But it sounds like it has to be a big company for that to make sense.
There just has to be the work that you do can't influence the work that the person that you're dating or married to does. And as long as that relationship isn't muddied, clock clock it. Find love. Do you.
Listen,
I'm here
this is
for it.
important because I've had this conversation with my
I'm
my
here
oldest
for it.
son. He's an adult. He's in the working world,
Mm-hmm.
and he said to me, because when he graduated, he moved away from the college town he was living in. He was like, "Oh, how am I gonna make friends?
Mm-hmm.
What am I gonna do?" And I said, "Oh, you'll make friends at work." And he was like, "What? Ew!" Like
I get that.
conceptually, they're like, "Make friends at work."
I get that.
But where else are you gonna meet people if it's not at work? You're at work all day.
I get that. Listen, when I was young, we I grew up in Connecticut, right? Like our happy hours were tough.
Very Babysitters Club of you to grow up in Connecticut, but go on.
But kind of, but not really, right? Like our happy hours were incredibly tough. Like we had an amazing time. Like we would leave the office and we would go to downtown Hartford and we would find every happy hour and we would go, and these were my coworkers because I knew no one,
Right.
right? But you know, today I would never.
Really?
I would never.
What changed?
I got a lot more to lose now. So if you see me in a compromising position, I'm not trying to have you get me caught up. Like
Oh,
now
yeah.
you're messing with my money. And that's what I would say just on dating the coworkers. Keep it neat, keep it clean. Don't let
That's
the
so
mess
impossible, though.
if you can't, then you shouldn't be doing it.
That relationships are inherently messy.
But they shouldn't be messy at work. I don't need to know about
So
it.
then we're back to stop it.
No, just I think it's very possible I did it, right? Like the relationship was not messy. My ex left the company that I was at, so we were able to over time we were able to really just clear that as a potential hurdle for either one of us, but keep it clean, and understand what happens at home or what happens in your relationship doesn't need to make it to work. And if you can do that and have that maturity, then absolutely, like live your life. But
Yeah, it's very much back to what you were talking about before about being very intentional about the kind of person you get involved with.
absolutely.
Because in the event, you have to start the demolition sequence.
Right.
You need to make sure they're going to act like they have some
Yeah, no,
sense.
because the whole department could go down.
Facts. Facts. I've actually seen that before.
Right. And people got to choose sides. It becomes messy, disruptive.
That's the crazy thing about working in HR. You see some
see it all.
wild stuff. I
see
mean,
it
people
all.
whose spouse and girlfriend work at the same company. Like, what are we doing?
Like, what am I supposed to do? With
Right.
this?
What are we doing here?
Like, if you have drama in your relationship and it comes to work, like, I don't care about the drama. I just care about the fact that you're being disruptive at work.
Yeah,
Right.
because now you're creating a problem for us, and we don't need it.
I don't need it
That's not what we're here for.
at all.
Okay, so we did get a clock it.
We got
A
clock it.
caveated clock.
Yes, a caveated clock it.
So that was clock it, no Coldplay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So I had the most interesting question came in
Okay.
this week, and I was like, oh, let me get my HR boo to answer this question.
Okay.
Number one, should I be concerned? That's the title of the question. Okay. My boss sat me in our regular one-on-one meeting asking if things are okay at home and work because there's one meeting in particular, that's a meeting with my boss and a coworker, that I haven't talked much in. I explained that I haven't had any major updates recently. My boss said I'm hard to read and talking to me is like talking to a brick wall. My performance isn't an issue and it was acknowledged that I'm doing great. I talk more in other meetings and some I lead, which I mentioned. I'm confused. What should I do?
Well, first of all, I don't like the boss referencing you as a brick wall. I don't like that. Like there's another way to describe that. So, that would be of concern to me as a professional. But should the person asking the question be concerned? A little bit, right? It seems like the boss and her or he have not really have figured out their ways of working and communication styles. And there's an opportunity for both folks to inform each other about like desired ways of communicating and ways of interacting and to establish some expectations and some norms there. So I'd be a little concerned. I wouldn't be overly concerned, especially if you're having success in other other meetings with other folks and other teams, and you're leading other meetings. And I would certainly reference that in that conversation. But it sounds like there might be something interpersonal going on between the
Yeah,
two
it
of
does sound.
them.
It has to be a new
Yeah.
relationship because what jumped off the page to me was they said, "Is everything okay with working at home?" Which at first I thought, "Oh, this is a boss that cares about you
Right.
because they're checking in with you." But talking to me is like talking to a brick wall, is giving shade. And then also the whole time it's been like that, or just today.
Right.
This has to be a new relationship.
Has to be a new relationship, or one that has shifted because something has happened with the person asking the question and the person and the leader, right? Like maybe there's some mistrust, maybe you moved in a shady way and that person doesn't trust you anymore. I mean, there's a lot of dynamics that could be at play, but I think obviously the leader has come and said, "Hey, I have some concern."
Yeah.
And some expectations and norms be reestablished.
So they do have to talk about it. It can't just sit like that.
Right. And mediation would be great. Pull in your HR partner if you need to, right? To help facilitate that conversation so it doesn't become overly awkward or more awkward than it already is.
All right. Next question.
Okay.
My team has gotten into a pattern of assuming everyone else will just be available after hours over the weekend. I have 3 young kids, and the weekends are kind of swamped with their stuff.
Yeah.
I still try to make time for these last-minute work requests that come in, but I'm getting burnt out.
Yeah.
For anyone in this kind of situation, how do I deal with this?
Gosh,
and let's not go with the response on here because it says, tell them to GTFO your personal stuff.
Well.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
No. Okay. This is very familiar because we are dealing with this in my company as well. And you don't ever want to tell your leader that you're not available, you have another commitment. You don't want to do that. But work-life balance is incredibly important. And so if it's not right now, make sure you have a plan to make sure that things get done later, right? And communicate that. Like if you have a commitment, if you have a conflict, the best thing you can do is communicate that. If that goes unrecognized, unappreciated, unnoticed, find another team to work or find another company to work at.
And that's so that's something that I am starting to feel concerned about. Nothing I've seen actually happen yet, but whenever the market shifts in this way where there's mass layoffs and it goes from almost like an employer market to an employee market. The other way. It went from the employee having a lot of power to find the kind of job they want and the culture they want, and it's moving maybe towards more of a creeping unemployment rates, and so now people should be grateful to have a job. Right. Whenever the dynamics shift like that, I think that the possibility of getting taken advantage of creeps up too.
It does.
And people start to get their voices stifled.
It does.
But if you know you're really good at your job, you can say, I'm not sure why this just came up on a Friday afternoon. I have pre-existing engagements, but I can start first thing Monday morning and see where we are by noon. Yeah. Because the craziest part about these requests is nobody looks at them.
And your poor planning is not going to be my emergency. I live by that almost every day.
The number of times I've worked on something all weekend and then the boss looked at it on Tuesday is wild. Yeah. Because I could have done that on Monday.
Yeah, could have done it on Monday.
So the moral of the story is do whatever you do really well, but don't do it on the weekend as a matter of habit because it's unsustainable.
Yeah. And listen, there are going to be some times where like weekend work is going to be required.
Facts.
And that should be on the occasion and not
the norm.
And so everyone gets brownie points when they're willing to roll their sleeves up and do what it takes to get the job done.
For sure.
But that can't be.
It can't be every weekend. No.
It can't be. I agree.
Okay, last one. And this one, I just like this one because I asked you this question a minute ago. Okay. I want to see if you consistently answer this question the same way.
No pressure.
I asked a colleague out. Every time something starts like that, I'm like, okay. Right. I asked a colleague out, And she said she wouldn't go because it's too hard to date someone at work in
Mhm.
case it doesn't pan out well. It's
Mhm.
giving Nicole. I heard her tell someone on her team that it's just too risky.
Mhm.
Is that just an excuse women use when they don't want to hurt someone's feelings? Because I'm aware of the risk too, but I still want to take the leap of faith and make it work. We get along really well, and I'm pretty sure she feels that way too. Would you take the risk with a guy at work who you're interested in? Is she just trying to spare my feelings? Ladies, please help.
Mm. Oh. Well, I love the pursuit of love. I love love. But it sounds like she's a girl who's about her money, and she ain't trying to mess that up. She worked hard to get to where she is, and she's not trying to have anything or anyone come in between that. And so, risky for her might be defined as a number of things, but as I'm interpreting it, it's just about I like what I do. I appreciate what I get compensated for for the work that I do, and I don't want this to become a problem. I don't want this to be a dynamic shift on the team. So I gotta respect the young lady who
Mm-hmm.
has, decided that she wants to put her career first. She might not, there's a lot of folks in this 20, early 30s, demographic that don't want to be bogged down by a boyfriend. They want to be able to have the flexibility and fluidity to move how they want to, where they want to, and with whom they want to. And so she just might not want a boyfriend. It might not have to be with you, but she just might not want a partner. So, I say there's probably a couple of factors at play, but what I'm hearing is I'm not trying to mess up
Facts. So, two things that I want to say on this one.
my.
One is if she was really feeling you like that, that would have been a lot more difficult of a decision for her to
Mhm.
make.
Yeah.
She's weighed her options.
Hmm.
She's looked at everything on the scale, and he's not worth the risk.
Right.
Point blank and period.
Hmm.
And the second thing I want to say is when a relationship at work doesn't work out or if it gets messy, the woman always takes
The
the
L.
brunt of
Mhm.
it. So
Yeah,
you need to respect the fact that her risk and your risk are not the same. I don't know
that's
what their
true.
two jobs are, but your risk and her risk is not the same.
Right.
What they will call her and what they will call you is not the same.
Right.
God forbid you're higher up in the company than she is. They're going to, no matter what, allege that she was trying to sleep her way
Yeah, she's
up.
a Jezebel.
It's the facts.
Hmm.
Double standards
Yeah.
to the world. That's how we live.
Hmm.
So, okay.
Yeah. I mean, two very different perspectives, but I think all of which could very much apply. Right.
Yeah.
So, listen, girl, make the money. Don't let the money make you.
That part. Make that money time. Okay, so here's the thing. We are coming to a close and we only talked a little bit about your your ventures.
Hmm.
And so I just want people to know where to find you. If I am trying to host an event and I want it to
Hmm.
feel like money and look like money, how do I book you to design my event?
Yeah, and so it's nessence at gmail.com if you want to email me or get in contact with me. But on Instagram, it's nessence So NSSENCE
We'll put it above
designs.
here. We'll write it on there.
And just a play on the initials and the word essence in essence, which I really do believe is a powering word
Mm,
out there. But it's been, yes, party planning, event planning, but it's morphed into interiors also. And
mm.
I just love not being constricted or restricted
Yeah,
by
don't box
one
her in.
particular thing.
Nobody
So
puts baby in a corner.
I just love curating beautiful spaces, whether it's to celebrate a milestone or it's to just enhance a living space. So we do both. And yeah, you can find me on Instagram at nessence designs.
Fan flipping tastic. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Take Yourself
Mm.
to Work. I hope you found something that you can take with you, put a handle on it, and carry it through your week. If you need more information on our guests, please feel free to reach out and we can put you in touch. If you're interested in being a guest on the podcast, please shoot us an email or drop your information below and we'll reach out to you and
Do
do an
it.
inquiry. All
Do
right.
it.
Thank you,
Oh my gosh,
Nicole.
thank you for having me.
Of
You
course.
know you're one of my favorite people. Like my cheeks always hurt when I'm around you.
We were behaved today.
I know.
We
We
were
were
very
very
behaved.
behaved. We were. She got HR Nicole. She got HR Nicole today. But thank you so much for
Uh,
having me. And I just wish nothing but success for you in this podcast venture and for this platform. Phenomenal. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. All right, we're out.